What's up, everybody? I'm Dirty, and this is Dirty's Customs. Currently in the shop, what we have going on is a 65, 66 f100 Crown Vic swap and a 61 f250 long bed. Has the motor, front end, trans, rear end in it. So let's check out this 65, 66. All right, so this is the 65, 66 f100. And when I initially started this build, there wasn't a whole lot of in-depth, I guess, on where to make the cuts and that kind of stuff, because I kept the original cop car firewall and floor because this truck was really rusted out. So as you can see, that is the factory pinch weld down there for the firewall. And what I did, very painstakingly drilled out all the spot welds and separated the upper and lower portion of that. I also had to modify the hinges a little bit, and built a bracket for the hinge. So that's where I cut the firewall. And I also had an extra cab. I don't know if you can see in there, but that's the ribs from the back wall of the cab. I think it was a 61 cab that I cut up. Over here, I am currently, this is where I stopped on it. I was modifying the inner fender well. And you can see that top mounting flange I grafted in from another truck. No, that is not a 61 through 64 inner fender well. I mean, that is a 61, 64 inner fender well, and so is this top part. These are different in 65 and 66, but I had a good set of rust-free fenders, so I grafted those in because the original ones were rusted out. The bottom of the rocker or fender was rusted out really bad too. And then under here, it's not quite done yet. You can see where I modified it all, and I probably shouldn't have cut it so short, but I did. The back I'll add some material to. In there you can see, I guess, the rocker portion. All that was rusted out on the original truck, so I had to rebuild all of that. And then that's where I grafted the cab into the cop car on the pinch weld. As you can see, there's still a pinch weld here for the cop car. And then let's go inside and take a peek. Okay, so in here is where a lot of the work was on this truck, because like I said, it was rotten. As you can tell, this is not a 65, 66 low rocker. I cut this out of the cab that I had laying around. So I cut the whole cab corner off. I cut the front portion out and rebuilt it all. These on 61 to 64 F100s, the lower rockers, they had 3 ribs, I believe. And I sectioned it, took one out, completely disassembled the whole rocker assembly off that truck. This one, on this side, I had to buy a OEM, not an OEM, but aftermarket, this panel, because it was rotten. The other side, I reused it. This has all been reshaped. I believe I made my cut right here, right along here, is where I sectioned it. You can kind of see where there's a low spot there. And basically what I did was I cut right along this rib, and then the rib that was further, I cut at the bottom to take one whole rib out, and then grafted it back in and reshaped it all. And then where I connected the cop car was, I cut the hole right here was the pinch weld, and there's like 3 or 4 layers here, and I cut right on the inside of the pinch weld. That's where I cut it. You got a brace here, you got cab mounts here, and then up in here, that's how all that looks, where I built this panel here, as I showed you on the other side, on the inside, and this is where I kept a little bit of the pinch weld right here because it had stepped, and I was able to, I needed somewhere to mount this panel to that pinch weld. This section right here is out of the trunk of the cop car, so I can run the factory wiring that goes to the back of the car out of a factory looking spot, and it's lower than the floor, so the wiring will come through there, go down, won't be in the way of anything. And as you can see, I'm missing something. So I can't get these. These are on back order for who knows how long. The donor cab that I used, that was rotten. The one on this truck, it was really rotten. So I'm waiting to get these in so I can completely be done with this, finish cleaning up the floor, and get it all seam sealed. In there, the wiring has been stripped for the inside of the truck, and the cop car wiring that goes to the back of the car has been stripped out of the harness. I have the steering column bracket that I made that I still have to figure out how I'm going to attach it to the original truck. We are going to be running the original cop car steering wheel and column in this truck. And then, yeah, so up in here, you get a little bit better of a look on, you can see that pinch weld. So, where I grafted it. So yeah, well, let's go check out the outside. All right, so this is outside of the truck. I was told that this truck originally came from a military base in southern Nevada. That's, I guess, why it's blue. What I plan to do with the rocker and the cab corner and the fenders where I have repaired them, I'm going to try to patina that back. I don't think it'll be too bad. And overall, the whole plan of this truck is to do a high gloss clear when it's done. I am not keeping this truck. I will be selling this later. I do already have a buyer for it. But this is what the truck looked like. You can only imagine what the floor and the rocker looked like. It had stop signs in it and all that for the floor. This section right here, I'm going to replace. That's why you can see where I drilled out the spot welds to replace that. And I still got to cut that little bit out. I'll get to this side when I finish the other side. But all in all, it's actually a really straight truck. It doesn't have a lot of dents and stuff in it. I still need to do the bed. Here's a look at the underside. The corner over there is all sealed up. I still need to finish this side. That's why right here you can see I still got to fill all that in, but that side over there I did already. Might be able to show you that. Okay, so over here you can see, it's hard to see. You can see where I filled all that in. It's all plug weld. And I built that for the bottom of it. There we go. So that's all sealed. As far as welding and no big holes, it still needs to be seam sealed and pour 15 and all that. Don't mind the welds. My welder was acting up. So yeah, that's how. All right. So like I say, hopefully that sheds some light on where the cut lines are, because like I said, when I started building this truck 2 years ago, there wasn't a whole lot of information I could find online about exactly where to make the cuts. The cuts took me a very long time to figure out. So, all right, on to the next one. So this is the other one. This is a 61 f250 long bed. And don't mind the shop. It's a mess. I've been working out here all day. And I'll go back to this truck and I'll tell you, initially when I bought this truck, I sat on it for, 6 months or so until the shop was done. And I started to build this truck for my wife. And then one day I went and bought this. And she liked this truck more, even though it's a long bed. She likes the color of it more. So I started to build this with her. Told her I ain't building her a truck. She has to help. This truck's super solid. Very, very minimal rust. And as you can see, the 4.6 is in this. And currently, working on doing the wiring. And I still got to mount the radiator, gas pedal, brake assembly. But this truck, all in all, it's got some whiskey dents in it, but it is a nice truck for not having hardly any rust or anything on it. It is still leaf sprung in the back. I pulled a couple leaves out to get it to sit at this stance. But it does have the cop car rear end. This is about as rusty as this truck is. Very minimal. I mean, I just can't believe how clean this truck is. And apparently it came from Washington. I pulled the gas tank out because I'm building a panel currently to have the ECU and the fuse panel mounted back here. Here's a look at a factory 61 rocker. You can see which rib I cut out. And the shape overall is a lot different. So currently that's what we got going on in the shop. Are these two. I do have a that is not for the blue truck. That is a customer's bed that I am working on, and probably won't go into depth on that at all. But so right now this is what we got going on in the shop. I do love traditional hot rods, however I don't have one. So right now we're just going with reliable, something we can jump in, drive across country. I do have some other stuff coming down the chain. I have one other Crown Vic swap. This one is a fridge. I got an older chassis, 99, complete car that I got to tear down, get it ready. So yeah. this is what we got currently, and a lot more to come. Um, I don't just do frame swaps, but it kind of seems like that's all I've been doing lately. I have a 57 Chevy pickup that's on a square body chassis that I need to get going on. And, you know, we just got a bunch of stuff and no time to do it. So, anyway, thanks for checking it out. Anybody's got some questions on how I did this, or, you know, you just want to say, hey, looks good, keep it up. Or if you don't like it, that's cool too. I don't mind. So, thanks for checking us out, everybody. Have a great day.